How would you have to think about your real estate business differently if you were to replicate it 10,000 times? I know that's a crazy question. My first influence in this business that really sort of set the trajectory for what I ultimately built was a book called E-Myth Revisited by Michael Gerber. And that was the E-Myth question. It's like, how would you have to just think about your business differently if you were to replicate it 10,000 times? And I know that's a crazy question. And as a real estate agent, you're probably thinking like, how could I possibly show homes to buyers in 10,000 different markets, or go on 10,000 listing appointments at a time? Or, it's this mindset shift to how could I be the best provider of residential real estate services, so helping buyers and helping sellers. How could I be the best business that provided that service in the entire country? So that's where I want to just level your mind right now. I want to set your thinking around that question. The truth is, unless we wrap our mind around that question, we're going to be extinct in the future. Stick around to the end of this video. I'm going to show you in 15 minutes how to set up your business, 4 drivers, 12 accelerators, so that you can really ultimately scale your business without scaling your hours. If you like the video, give me the thumbs up. It makes me feel good and it helps us on the Google. And subscribe to the channel, turn notifications on, so you'll be the first to know when a new video drops. At Real Estate Business School, we have a very specific model and framework that we follow with our members, and it's how we think about our businesses. It's a strategic look into our businesses. We break a business down into 4 key drivers, and each of those drivers has 3 accelerators. And I'm going to break this down for you very slowly. I want you to think about, as I'm going through these drivers and accelerators, how you're thinking about your business. And to start off this video, I challenge you to think about your business as if you were going to replicate it 10,000 times. That's the only thing I did differently in the early part of my journey. In 2008, that was my first full year in real estate. I sold 44 homes. That was top % of a percent. Instantly, I was selling more homes than 99.9% of agents in my market. And I wasn't gonna stay there because my life was miserable. I had a 1-year-old at the time. I was only 2 years into my marriage, and I had no time to enjoy anything outside of work. And I wasn't even enjoying work. And I didn't have this clear roadmap at the time. I certainly didn't have what we have today in Real Estate B School with these very clear drivers, these accelerators, and the tools and systems that allow you to scale your business without scaling your hours. So let's go through the drivers one by one. And when you think of at least the first 3, a traditionally successful real estate agent, they put themselves in each one of these drivers. So it's attract, convert, and deliver. So your ability to attract high quality buyer and seller leads, to convert those leads into face-to-face consultations and then into loyal clients, and then to deliver on the promises you made in the sales process. I'm gonna break it down for you. Attract, there's 3 elements. It's database marketing, listing marketing, and buyer marketing. Are you generating high quality leads without having to pay someone else to be a better marketer than you? That is my biggest pet peeve, the thing I'll soapbox on and rant about all day long, is paying Zillow for leads does not make you a marketer. There's nothing involved in doing that. I was on a panel here locally in Charlotte, and this guy will know who he is as I'm telling this story. I was sitting next to a guy that I heard was the king of internet lead generation. And I found out later that he was spending $75,000 a month paying for leads with Zillow. At the time, this was probably 7-8 years ago, I was spending $5,000 a month on Zillow. And I already knew that was I'd never done cocaine, but I would imagine that if the addiction I had to those leads just coming in, if I let that go, 75 grand a month is a full out addiction to paid lead sources. And when I find that out, I just lost a lot of respect for the guy. Turns out that his business, he was just completely a slave to Zillow, and I knew I didn't want to have a business like that. Even if it meant I didn't have the biggest numbers in terms of GCI, I knew that I wanted a profitable business, and this individual was stuck in production. So he had this big team, big business, spending lots of money on paid lead sources, and he was stuck in the business. he wasn't attracting. Notice the first driver is not called paying for crap. It's called attract, right? What systems do you have in place in your database, in listing marketing and buyer marketing to attract buyers and sellers to you? Through yard marketing or an open house system or expires or FSBOs, direct response marketing to them, your database, your client for life program, social proof, this virtuous cycle, right? That we have people say great things about us and then we have new people come in because they read those great things. That is what I'm talking about, attract. So ask yourself, scale of 1 to 5, am I more like this guy that's paying for a bunch of lead sources? Or maybe you have no high quality leads coming in regularly, or 5, you're crushing it and you have all the leads that you can possibly handle. The second driver is convert. There's a few elements here. There's lead management. So how do you what's the perfect lead sequence for someone that comes into your world? Then there's just the scripts and dialogues, that lead conversion process. What do you say on the phone or in conversation to get someone to take action to meet with you? And then the actual consultation framework and process, where you have a step-by-step process to meet with a buyer and get them to say yes to doing business with you. You have a process step-by-step to meet with sellers and more often than not get them to say yes to working with you at your commission structure, at your asking price or initial asking price for the property. So when you think about where you are with your ability to convert leads systematically and predictably, where are you? 1, I got nothing, right? I wing it. Even if you have leads coming in, you wing it. There's no sort of scripts by lead source. You're not a master of your scripts. You don't have a consultation process. You're the one doing everything. To 5, you're just completely dialed in with your lead management, your follow-up sequences, your text sequences, the best converting emails. 1 to 5, where do you place yourself? Then the third driver is deliver. So once you've generated a lead, you have converted them to a face-to-face consultation, they've agreed to be a happy client of yours. How do you deliver on the promises you made in the sales process, yet you don't spin out and spend all the time servicing that client? That's the biggest thing that we see in agents that fail to scale, is that they are constantly delivering the thing that they promised in sales. And delivering as a real estate agent is showing houses, writing contracts, getting a listing to be active on the market. Those things are super important. So they're mission critical, and I'm not gonna minimize them because I don't wanna piss you off. Yet, in my market, I'm in a top 20 metro market in the country, in Charlotte, North Carolina. We can hire high quality administrators for $12, $13 on the lower end in terms of some lower level tasks on our team, to $20 an hour, somewhere in that range. And they're world class at delivering on the promises that we made in sales. So getting a listing on the market, calling the seller, letting them know how the process is going to look, giving them feedback on showings, talking to them about, price improvements if their market isn't reacting favorably to their home. Same thing with closing coordination. That's an administrative position, mission critical, yet administrative in nature and compensation. And so how would you reimagine and I didn't even get into showings, right? Are you the only one that can show homes to your buyer clients? Really think about it. Are you the only one that can choose listings, go drive to a listing, open the door, be friendly, point out the features, talk to them about if it's a fit or not a fit, right? Don't overthink this. You're not that important. And I say that because I had that realization. I thought I was that important in the early stages of my business growth until I did 58 transactions in a year and I lost my mind. And I went sort of away from being close to my wife and spending time with my son at the time, Anders, who was like 1 year old, right? We don't want you to hit the point in your business journey where your business takes over your personal life. All right, so attract, convert, deliver. There's a fourth driver, it's called scale. The only shot you have at scaling your business is if you set up attract, convert, and deliver to run without you, to run systematically. And I pretty much went through all the elements. Attract is listing marketing, buyer marketing, database marketing. You have leads coming in that you're not paying someone else to generate. Convert, your lead management, lead follow-up, right? The appointment process, the scripts and dialogues. the consultation framework, how you sit down with a buyer and sit down with a seller. We do virtual consultations now, and that's a game changer. Like I said, I can be in 5 different listing presentations going on literally at the same time, and I have no time in it. And then we talk about deliver. That's transaction coordination, that's client servicing, and also the critical technology tools in your business that give you the leverage. Setting those 3 up in the right way allow you to scale your business, which is all about planning, right? 3-year vision, 1-year plan, 90-day world. It's all about knowing your numbers, becoming the CFO of your business, generating enough income to really put you on a trajectory with your wealth that has you financially free as a result of the work you're putting into your business. And then last but not least is growing your team, right? What's the process to establish a culture, a cadence, bring on the right fit team members and have them achieve at a high level and achieve their dreams within the business that you've created so they can live a life by design. They can have time freedom, money freedom, and freedom from stress. So if you're at the point in your journey where I offered up this guide before, just go to realestatebusinessgrowth.com. That's realestatebusinessgrowth.com. I'm gonna lay out the 6 stages of growth of a real estate business and how you can replicate it in your business. If you like the video, give me the thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on your notifications. Tap that little bell so you're notified as soon as a video hits. And I'll always say it that this is not necessarily the easiest path. I would argue that the path of building a business allows you to just get into a new growth mode and look at your business differently. And at the end, the chance that you'll have regrets are way less than if you just grind out transaction and become that person in their 60s where they don't have financial freedom and all you can do is go out and sell another home. And that's not what I want for you. We'll see you on the next video.